Everything we miss in our life, we gain something else. And this is pretty much straightforward to understand. But when it comes down to implementation, how many of us actually live by it? Otherwise, tell me, why would people scroll so much on social media and feel unpleasant upon watching their friends or relatives' posts? Tell me frankly, if you ever felt good upon watching someone else's pictures on Facebook or Instagram. And despite feeling those unpleasant feelings, you would continuously access their posts without giving a second thought. Why? Can you correlate with what I'm talking about? Well, I certainly can. And I can recall a recent incident only where three of my friends went for a festival celebration without me. And when they posted pictures on our common WhatsApp group, I felt little uneasy in my gut. And I was wondering why I'm feeling this way. For a matter of fact, they asked me to join them, yet I chose not to go. So having such feeling, I feel, is totally unjustified. When I was preparing for my first episode for this podcast, I came across this term FOMO for the very first time, and to my surprise found out that this was the root of my uneasy feelings.
Hello and welcome to Flower Power, a holistic health podcast. This is your host Sonal, and through this podcast, I am on my mission to spread awareness about self-healing with Bach Flower Remedies. I'm so madly in love with these magical potions that I apply, breathe, talk, chant and sleep with them.
In case just like me you are wondering what FOMO is, then let me tell you, it is an acronym for fear of missing out. And I got fascinated by this word, so I did more research on it, and it struck to me that this is a very common phenomenon and most of us are actually experiencing it these days. FOMO is not something new, but it definitely has become more prevalent. For this we can thank social media, where we can easily peep into other people's lives, which is left no more private. And one may ask why people post so much on online platforms, and it appears to be as an interesting question which I might cover in one of my episodes. So for now, let's find out what exactly FOMO is. To me, it is something happening within us without our knowledge and control. And even though we are calling it as a fear, what I could not decipher is the term missing out. Because in Bach Flower Remedies, we have about 7 to 8 remedies on fear. And being a curious practitioner, I wanted to figure out the exact characteristics of this fear type. So upon reading some blogs and watching YouTube videos, I came to a conclusion that it is actually a fear of being left alone or left out, which may sound to many of us as no big deal. Yet I would not take it lightly, as this fear is deep rooted in us, so it has its own ill effects on our health. So the question now is, where it is coming from. For this, let's imagine a baby gazelle left behind mistakenly as its herd came under attack of predators. Now the poor calf is under threat as it is left alone in the wild to fend for itself. How the poor calf would perceive this threat as? I can visualize that it would be a bit anxious and scared on not finding its group members around. And this is the exact response which gets triggered in us when we see our connections doing awesome things without us on social media. As per psychologists, we inherited FOMO from our tribal ancestors, who used to roam around in small groups in search of new food resources. And unlike us, for them missing out on any information on safety or food could literally mean the difference between life and death. That's how this fear is hardwired into our brain. And the worst part of this neurowired emotion of fear is that it gets triggered within us even if a threat is imaginary. So if you look carefully into your life, you will find many possible scenarios where such feelings can arise within you. In this episode, I have covered certain situations where Bach Flower Remedies can help you in releasing your FOMO. As any emotional stress cause hurt to you just like a physical pain would, by activating the same parts of brain. FOMO is triggered by the activity in amygdala, the part of the brain that controls the fight or flight response, and that stress hurts badly. Mind it if you are engaged in indiscriminate scrolling and addicted to social media, because sooner or later this one will transform into awful feelings of FOMO, which will eventually raise your anxiety levels and impact your performance. Actually, you need to understand that you are getting fulfilled psychologically by doing any activity from which you are finding it difficult to unplug from. On the other hand, if you're happy and content within you, you will mind your own business. And if you acquire such a state, you won't bother on what's happening or not happening around you. Instead, you would do something to bring you joy. Thankfully, I have found an easy and effective way in batch flowers to keep me emotionally balanced all day. And I'm so happy and delighted to share it with others too.
Hey, you're listening to Flower Power. Feel positive 24 hours with Bach Flowers.
Example of FOMO from our everyday life I can think of is being worried about missing events that your friends might have attended. And this could lead you to constantly check the social media. One lady recently moved from UAE to USA with her husband and she started experiencing FOMO. She had a great social life in UAE and used to regularly hang out with her girl gang. Now totally alone in a new country, she started feeling left out. So she started keeping herself busy by constantly checking Facebook and Instagram profiles of her friends. Then approached me for increase in her anxiety levels. And when I asked her what is she getting by being on social media platforms, her reply was that she is missing events and parties she used to attend. Now she is feeling jealous when she sees her friends having the fun she should also be having. Remedies like walnut, honeysuckle and willow are given to her for 10 days. And her anxiety levels dropped significantly after that. She's planning now to start a home-based business to keep herself busy. A compulsive shopper lady came to me for help. Actually, the moment she will see a sale in her favorite brand store, she would go immediately there and purchase all the unnecessary stuff. She was having the fear that the prices will increase again and stock will be over. Now she was fed up of her overspending and wanted to save money for her future. I asked her to take mimulus, cherry plum, walnut and crabapple. This combination helped her by calming down her impulses for shopping spree during sale. An interesting case of FOMO came to me. A young lady started working for the first time in her life. She was complaining of constant fatigue and lack of focus in her work. When I probed her, I came to know that she recently had a breakup with her boyfriend. After work, she would go home, finish dinner and lie in bed, spending hours on dating apps. As a result, she would sleep late and drag herself every morning for work. She was in shock after her abrupt breakup and feeling sad, and she was looking out for someone to comfort her. Star of Bethlehem, honeysuckle, sweet chestnut and walnut was given to her. This combination helped her in getting over the emotional hurt she suffered and also to accept the new change in her life and move on smoothly. From these three cases, I hope you would have got some idea on FOMO and its treatment with Bach Flower Remedies. Actually, the main key in breaking the loop of being stuck in FOMO is to figure out the why. By that, I mean to find out the root emotions one is feeling, which is making them take certain compulsive or harmful actions, such as social media addiction, and for that matter, any type of addictive behavior. Taking appropriate flower remedy for the negative emotions behind one's FOMO will help the persons break the vicious circle of FOMO.
Give me a buzz on Facebook Messenger and also join my super cool Facebook community called Flower Power, where I conduct monthly rituals on batch remedies. I have left all the social links in the episode description. Have a look into my courses if you're looking to become a batch flower expert. I'm all excited to hear from you. That's all I got for you, and if you loved this episode, then please do me a favor by sharing it on Instagram stories and tag me as well. My Instagram handle is DRSONALSINGHAL. I would not leave you here simply with a goodbye, but with the promise from you to live in the present moment, leaving your past behind for a better future. I love you and hope you have a great day ahead.